Can I challenge you tonight? Some of you are going through periods of discouragement. Maybe your business is slow. Maybe the economy in your country has not been doing as well as it should be. Or maybe you have lost some downline. Or maybe you have come into a situation where your family has turned against you. Or maybe you've gone through a divorce. Or maybe you lost someone in your family through death. And it's disturbed your concentration. I want you to learn a lesson from the eagle. No matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult life may seem, no matter how challenging it may look, that storm has come to make you better. You can use it for depression, or you can use it for altitude. You can use it for discouragement, or you can use it to fly at a height you never flew before. Challenges test your resolve. Challenges test your ability to handle characteristics that make you a leader. You will never be successful without problems. Today, people think that I'm successful because of the things I've accomplished. I am the founder of an organization that is now in 74 countries. I am the director of an incorporated company that is worth millions of dollars. I have been involved in helping people and governments and institutions to also understand that they can do the same. But I got something to tell you tonight. If you see the front of me, I look very beautiful, don't I? I'm handsome, I am short, dark, and beautiful. And that's what you see in the front. But if I show you my back, you will see scars. You will see cuts. You will see sores that are being healed. You would see the cost of success. Eagles love a challenge because a challenge makes them strong. An eagle is not afraid of difficulty because difficulty makes the eagle better. You take a look at your problems this weekend. Look them in the face and say to them, I'm not going to run from you. I'm going to show you what I'm made of, and I'm going to use you to make me better. An eagle is a strange bird because the sixth principle of an eagle is that an eagle prepares for training. Please write that down. An eagle prepares for training. An eagle invests time in the development of others. Now, some of you are wondering, can a bird think that sophisticated? The answer is yes. Listen to this. The eagle is the only bird that builds its nest this way. Follow me carefully. When an eagle wants to build a nest, the first thing an eagle does, are you ready for this? He finds a high cleft in the cold mountain. He makes sure it is high, he makes sure it's a cleft, and he makes sure it is cold at that altitude. He builds it on the bare rock. Then he flies away after he finds a spot, and he picks up pieces of twigs. He takes them up to that cold spot, and he lays them in a pattern. Then he flies down to the earth, and he finds cloth and rag. He brings it back, and he lays them on the top of the twigs. Then he flies back to the earth, and he does the most unorthodox thing. The eagle goes searching for thorns. He finds the thorns, he brings them back to the nest, and he puts the thorns on the top of the cloth. Thick, sharp, dangerous thorns the eagle finds. Then he flies back to the earth, and he brings back cotton and cloth. and puts on the top of the thorns. When that is completed, he goes back to the earth and he brings straw and put on the top of the cotton. And then he goes back to the earth and he brings back cotton on top of the straw. And when that nest is soft and warm and comfortable, then the female eagle comes and lays the eggs. Why did the eagle build the nest that way? Because the eagle invests in training others. You cannot be successful in life unless you are willing to invest in the development of other people. There's one thing you were designed never to do, and that is to live an isolated life. This company is built on people, not on money. This company is built on relationships, not on an organization. This company is built on trusting other people with your own word. It's not built on some cold, callous structure. This company is built on your ability to train other people. If you're going to train other people, you have to prepare and invest the time to train them. Watch the eagle. The eagle, after the eggs are laid, she sits on the egg. And when she's tired, the male sits on the egg and they trade places. By the way, that's good advice for marriages. Don't let your wife do all the work. Sit on the egg sometime, brothers. We are in this together if we are married. You cannot be successful in the eagle team if there is a division in your marriage, if there's friction, if there's disagreement, because that environment is not conducive to focus like an eagle. If your spouse does not agree with your dream, you're going to find it very difficult to focus, because the home is the nest. So I encourage you, if you are here without your spouse, next year, bring your spouse with you so they can capture the dream. I am so excited to see so many families here, husband and wives, because that's the way it was intended to be. Because the key to division is a strange key. I'll give it to you now. Please write the word vision down. Everybody say vision. Say it loud. A little louder. Now I want you to write another word down, but it's not a word, it's a prefix. Write the prefix D-I. The prefix die, it has a meaning. It means two. T-W-O. Two. Whenever you see that prefix anywhere, it means two. It splits the word. For example, the word vide means one. If you put die in the front of it, it's the word divide, which means you split the one. Cotomy means one. If you put the prefix die in the front of cotomy, it's the word dichotomy, which means to split in two. If you have the word VORC, V-O-R-C, which is a word, it means single power. If you put the prefix die in the front of the word VORC, you have the word divorce, which means you split the power. If you have the word vision, the word vision is the word optica, and it means single sight. If you put the prefix die in the front of the word vision, you have what? What do you have? Come on, shout it loud. If you want to protect yourself from division in your family, or division in your company, or division in your downline, or division in your business, then you as a leader of your downline must constantly communicate and enforce and reinforce the vision of your company to the hearts of those people, so that no one comes up with a second vision. Because wherever there are two visions, there is division. That is why this company is headed by one man. They say that any animal with two heads is a monster. If you're going to be successful in business, you've got to remember that the company should have a single vision. The eagle together have one vision. We are going to produce eaglets. So they both sit on the egg. Now here's the beauty. When the eggs have hatched and the little eaglets come out, that's your new recruits. Everybody say eaglets. I want 1998 to be the year of eaglets. I want 1998 to be the year that you hatch 50 to 60 new eaglets in your personal company. Good. That's a good place to clap. That means you got to sit down with your spouse or sit down with your friend and your partner and say, 1998, we are going to deliver these babies we carry. We have a vision of a downline of 300 by the year 2000. And this is going to be our dream. 1998, we're going to hatch 50 of them. When they hatch, the eagle does something strange. The birds begin to develop. It takes time. You got to encourage them. You got to meet with them. You got to show them the system of eagle team. You got to desire to be with them and talk to them and have meetings with them. It takes a lot of commitment to prepare and train people to be leaders. When they have grown their feathers and they've become strong and their wings have been filled out, guess what? They don't want to fly. Eagles were born to fly, but they are afraid of flight. Isn't that strange? Grown eagles will stay in a nest even though they are the king of birds and they were born to fly. That sounds like most of us. We were born to be successful. We were born with dreams on the inside. We were born with vision to accomplish great things. That's why you're here tonight. You were born to impact your community economically. You were born to make a footprint in the sand of history in your country. You were born to be an impression on history. You were born with that, but you are afraid to step out. Why? The greatest fear you know is failure. You're afraid that if you leave your job and go full-time in the Eagle team, then you might not be successful and all your friends will laugh at you. Or maybe you're afraid that if you do step out in Eagle team's commitment and you become a multi-millionaire in the next 4 years, that you will lose your friends, so you are afraid of success. Or maybe you are afraid that if you were to step out, it will mean you got to work too hard. So you're afraid of investing your energy. Or maybe you're afraid that if you were to decide to go out and fulfill your dream, it's going to take 10 years to make it happen, and you don't want to wait that long. So you're afraid to start. But I got news for you. Even though you are afraid to start, you still could fly. What does the eagle do to make the eaglets fly? This weekend, consider me Mama Eagle. Because my job this weekend is to do what the Mother Eagle does. Some of you need some help to fly a little higher in 98. I have come to help you. Some of you need a little help. You need a little help to refocus your dream and get back on track, Mama has come to help you this weekend. Some of you feel that you have made it. You are now a diamond and you could relax. Don't you dare sit where I sit, because I have come to turn your diamond into a gem. Don't be satisfied with what you've done. Don't believe you've made it, because no one makes it until they are dead. So the mama eagle does something strange. The same eaglets that she fed, and the same eaglets that she cuddled, and the same eaglets that she encouraged to develop, suddenly the mother eagle goes crazy because it's time to fly. Everybody say it's time to fly. Oh, come on, say it with me. It's time to fly. Everybody do like this. Come on, take your hands out. Tell your neighbor, look out for my wings. Watch my wings. All right, are you ready? Everybody say, it's time to fly. One more time. It's time to fly. Again, it's time to fly. Give yourself a hand, because you're going to fly this weekend. Okay, you said it. So Mama Eagle's going to help you. The mother eagle suddenly takes her wings and she puts it next to the nest. Big, 7 feet wings of feathers. And she begins to chirp and begins to hoot to tell the eagles to come on her feathers, because it's time to fly. They don't move. She goes to the nest. She takes her beak and she pushes them out. And she pushes them out. And they fall out of the nest on the cold, hard rock of the mountain. And the cold, icy mountain makes them uncomfortable, so they jump back into the nest. She goes back and she pushes them out with her beak. And she nudges them out with the beak. She comes and they fall on the cold mountain. It's cold and shivering. They begin to scream and cry, and they jump back in the nest. The nest is warm, comfortable. She comes back and she takes a beak and she shoves them out again. They land on the cold rock. It's cold, and they jump back in the warm nest. And so Mama Eagle does something that seemed to be uncomfortable. Suddenly the beak that fed them, and the beak that protected them, and the beak that covered them, and the beak that was the source of their very lives, the Mama Eagle takes that beak and she begins to rip away the cotton and rip away the straw, and she rips away the grass, and she rips away the cloth, and she goes crazy, and all the cloth and feather is flying everywhere, all over the mountain, down the mountain. It's all a frenzy. She just tears up the nest, and the little eagles are screaming and crying and shouting, "No, I'm comfortable, leave me alone." But she's not even listening to them. She rips the nest and rips the nest until she gets down to the thorns. And when the thorns are exposed, the mother eagle takes her big wings and puts them on the rock again next to the nest, because she knows it's better to be on the wing than in the nest. The little birds begin to feel the thorns pierce their feathers and begins to pierce the skin. Blood begins to show as they move around on the uncomfortable thorns, and they begin to literally hurt themselves because it's time to fly. Some of you have come to this convention this year because your job is nothing but thorns. Some of you have come to the point where it's uncomfortable to go to work because Eagle Team has become so much of an interest and success that it's now a contest between your vision and your job. The thorns that are piercing you on your job are actually messages that are telling you, fly now or live on a pension forever. You cannot be successful in a dream part-time. There comes a time when the pot has to turn into a hole. Stay on your job until you can't stay anymore. But when you can't stay anymore, don't stay on your job. Otherwise, you will never learn the joy and the beauty and the freedom of flying like the eagle. The little eagles jump out of the nest onto the wings of the mother. Oh, they're so excited. Why? It's soft and warm and it's comfortable, and they hang on with their claws, and they begin to just settle down on the wing, and you got 3 eaglets on the wing. It's beautiful. Ooh, Mama, thank you, Mama. It's so good to be so good to us. They're excited. But then the mother eagle does something very unorthodox. When they are all on the wing and they have their grip in her pinions, then the mother eagle jumps from the mountain with the eaglets on her wings, and she shoots up 3 miles in the air, 4 miles above the mountain, with the eaglets screaming on her wings. When she reaches a point where she knows the air is thin, she suddenly shuts her wings. And the eaglets begin to fall. As they fall, guess who's watching? Remember the guy who caught the twig? The guy who caught the twig now has his job. He has been tested. So the mother eagle drops them, and the father eagle, his eyes are able to see every detail. As they fall, they scream, and they cry, and they flutter, and they fall over, and there's no coordination. Why? They are a young member of Eagle Team. Some of you, last year, you pushed some people out with their own little tests, their own little downline. You gave them some assignments, and they waddled and fumbled, and they fell, and they weren't too steady, and they didn't show up on time, and didn't carry out this assignment. But don't throw them away. Just watch them, and don't help them all the time. Let them experience what you experience. Let them go through a measure of failure, because success is a result of a series of failures. Let them fall for a while, but don't be too far from them, because they need your help as a diamond or as a ruby. They need to be close to you, even though you don't need to interfere all the time. Let them learn to fly. As a matter of fact, Eagle Team will be as successful as your ability to teach others to fly. If you have to be in touch with all of your downline, you are not a successful eagle. Your ability to release others in flight is the future of this great company. And so they fall. And just before they hit the ground, 50, 60 yards up, the mother eagle is watching the father eagle. Suddenly, he dives like a bullet. He catches them. And he climbs up. And he goes up. And they are so happy. They're hanging on saying, "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Oh, Daddy, we love you." Sounds like the diamond's coming to help, huh? That's that phone call you get sometimes from your upline saying, "How you doing? I'm working with you. I got faith in you." That's the wing come to catch you. And the father eagle takes the eaglets up higher and higher. They figure, we're going back to the nest. we're going back to the nest. And he goes past the nest. Oh no. And she takes them back to where the mother eagle is. And then he drops the eagles again, and they fall. Catches them again. Takes them up again. He drops them. They scream. But now they're beginning to realize, hey, Daddy ain't going to stop doing this. We better start using our wings. You see, your diamonds and your rubies and your upline are not going to stop pushing you into responsibility. So you might as well learn to run this business by yourself. This weekend, I want you to fly to a height you haven't flown before. Use some vision you've never used before. Begin to use the imagination God has given you to become the best you can be. Be like the eaglets who begin to realize it's time to fly. If we never learn to fly, we're going to keep going up and down. Life will never be a constant glide if we never learn to fly. Some days your bills are paid, some days your bills ain't paid, some days your bills are paid, some days you can't live like that forever. You'll have ulcers and depression and growth and cancer and migraine if you try up and down life. Decide today that you are going to make 1998 the year that you extend your wings to the limit where you've never been before. And suddenly, those little birds begin to realize, hey, we can do this. Look at me. I'm doing what Daddy did. Look at this. Hey, we're doing it. Oh, there's the ground. Oh. And they started, hey, I'm mounting up like my papa. Look at that. I'm acting like a diamond. And that's why in this company, we want you to dress like a diamond. Even if you ain't one yet. We want you to walk like a diamond. We want you to talk like a diamond. How you doing? Great. How's life? Fantastic. How's the business? Prospering. Diamonds talk positive. But every diamond used to be a rock. Don't be impressed with diamonds. Because all diamonds begin as a piece of wood that was petrified under pressure, that was crystallized into crystalline compound that became a crystal, and the pressure made it a diamond. Diamonds take 1,000 years to form. These people you see sitting up here, who you are so maybe impressed with, remember there's a price. They've been under pressure for years. It has cost them many, many hours and years and days of frustration. Under pressure, diamonds are made. Everybody begins as a piece of wood. But only those who stay under the pressure become diamonds. Those eagles have to learn to fly. The day comes that finally the baby eagles are now up at the altitude where Mama and Daddy are now flying. And they too have become what they were born to be. High-flying eagles. I want to close tonight on one reminder. An eagle grows old, and an eagle eventually dies. But there's something about an eagle that is the strangest thing in the world. And I want to close on this point tonight, because tomorrow is going to be a good day for you. When an eagle grows old, his feathers grow old. The eagle finds a quiet place in the mountain. Listen carefully, please. And the eagle does something no other birds do? The eagle goes to a quiet place in the mountain, high up in the cleft of the rock, by himself. And the eagle begins to take his feathers, and he would take his wings and put them around the front of himself, and he begins to take his beak. He begins to yank out his own feathers and throw them on the mountain. And he does it with the other wing. He yanks out his feathers and throws them on the mountain. He begins to yank the feathers from his chest, throws them on the mountain. And he begins to yank himself free from every feather he could reach. And the eagle stands there, bare skin and bloody. This is a true act of an eagle. And the eagle stays in that quiet place until new feathers grow. And as he stays there in that quiet place, then you understand the statement of the great prophet Isaiah in the Bible. Isaiah says, wait on the Lord. In other words, all of us got to find a refuge in God, in our business, because we get tired, we get frustrated, ideas grow old, the business becomes boring, we feel that this ain't working, this ain't going to be successful, you feel old. I have come to tell you, in my own success, in my own business experience, that when that happens to me, I always find a quiet place where nobody is, and I begin to beat my feathers and expose my fears and all of my frustrations. I begin to tell my Creator how frustrated I am, and I pull out all of my transparent weaknesses and how depressed I am and how things ain't working and it ain't going the way I expected it, and I began to confess my frustration in that quiet place. And you know what he does? He begins to give me new courage. He begins to give me new vision. He begins to revise my vision. He begins to show me that the temporary discouragement is only an opportunity to have courage, because you cannot have courage without fear. And he renews my strength. And when the eagle surfaces again, scientists say the eagle is stronger than he was before because his feathers are new. Go back to your quiet place when you feel frustrated. Go back to where your dream first started. Find the place of meditation from the source of your true potential and ability. Do not look just to human wisdom. And I promise you, you will be renewed like the eagle. And like Isaiah said, wait on the Lord, and he will strengthen your heart. You will mount up with wings as eagles. You will run, not be weary. You will walk and not faint. And you will fly above the pigeons. My desire and my challenge to you is join me at the top. It's fun where eagles fly. See you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a great flight. See you tomorrow.